Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast, episode number 59. Guys, it is Charlotte week. Charlotte week, man. Hard to get hyped up for Charlotte week. It doesn't have the same ring to it as Tennessee Hate Week. But, man, we're going to try to get excited. As always, I'm your boy Hirsch. With me is CJ the Man McCann.
What's going on, guys?
And, of course, the hype man, Wes.
What's good, Gator Nation?
Yes, sir, guys. Got a little bit of stuff to cover tonight, man. You know, a little bit of recruiting news. We're going to talk about all that. Not going to talk too much about the Charlotte game. Obviously, we got a few little nuggets to talk about. And then, of course, we're going to round it off, man, with our Pick Ems. It's a great week for Pick Ems, man. It's Separation Saturday this weekend. A load of good games. Thank God some of them are before we play, since we're always playing this late game every week, and I got to sit around. Y'all got to sit around and wait all day long to watch the Gators take the field. We're going to try to get through it, though, guys. As always, make sure you go out down there, download us wherever you get your podcasts from. And if you're checking us out on our YouTube channel and you're new to the channel, do us a favor, guys. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and leave a comment down below. Give your score prediction. Gators versus Charlotte 49ers down below. Tell us what you think the final score will be. All right, boys, let's jump right into it. We're going to do it like we do every week. We're going to first start off by talking about Under the Lights, how some of our commitments did last week on the high school gridiron. Two of them are the same guys each and every week because they're just putting up phenomenal numbers. But we're going to start off by talking about a defensive target playing on the offensive side of the ball, and that's Mr. Miles Graham. And, boy, if you thought Miles Graham was a good linebacker, he's a hell of a running back too, just like his daddy. 200 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns for Miles Graham, showing off what kind of an athlete he is there. He's a do-it-all kind of athlete. Don't think we'll see him playing running back in Gainesville. Too good of a linebacker, but you always love to see a kid that out there in the high school ranks playing both ways, putting up big numbers. Next one, talking about running backs. Running back 1 was at it again this week, Kanan Daniels. His team won 19-7, and Kanan Daniels, as you may have guessed, all 3 touchdowns. I don't have his yardage totals this week. I wasn't able to find them, but 3 more touchdowns to his total. The kid is putting up video game numbers. It's ridiculous. Can't wait for Mr. Daniels to get to Gainesville. He was super excited after watching the game this week, watching Trevor Etienne run all over those boys from Tennessee. He can see himself in this offense. Might be playing some next year at this rate, man. And, of course, you wouldn't be talking about prospects putting up big numbers unless you were talking about DJ Lagway. What can you say that hadn't been said about DJ? He's Superman. 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, as well as wins again. Hung a huge number on another team that had a winning record. Then hit the plane, came to Gainesville, did a little recruiting. The man's got his cape on. He's Mr. Do-It-All. There's some highlights out there. There's one particular highlight of him scrambling out of the pocket and throwing an absolute dime to a receiver on the sideline. I don't know if y'all have seen it. I'll try to make sure it's posted on our social media pages. But this young man can make every throw in the book. And, hey, On 3 seems to be jumping on board. They bumped him up to number 20 in their new On 3 rankings. Oh, my God, number 20 in the country. Apparently, playing 3 games of football, because by the time they submitted their rankings, this game that we're talking about now hadn't even been played. I mean, holy smokes. Gator Nation, keep applying pressure to Charles Power, Shannon Terry, and the On 3 boys. That seems to be helping them. Almost all of our recruits went up in ranking this week. Only 2 of them went down, and they went down a very small amount. So, hey, good news there. But, guys, let's talk about the recruiting efforts of the last weekend and how things shook out after the Tennessee win and the big visit weekend we talked about last week. If you watched our Raw Reaction episode, or if you follow recruiting, you've probably already heard, but we want to deep dive a little bit more. We did get a commitment from 2025 running back Waltez Clark. This is our first commitment for the 2025 class, and a big-time commitment he is, guys. 6'1", 194, out of Tampa down there, Plant High School. Tremendously great factory of athletes down there at Plant. currently ranked 160 in the composite. Yes, he did go down after he committed to Florida, but the reason for that was rivals had not ranked him at the time, and so that was not factored into the composite. They ranked him as a lower 4-star in their initial rankings or whatever have you not it was, and it just happened to coincide with when he committed to Florida. It wasn't a specific company dropped him as soon as he committed, but I know it looks fishy on paper. So I'm just going to urge y'all on this particular one to give it a little bit of a pass. But CJ, start with you. How big of it is it to go ahead and get this young man into the 2025 class, first commitment of that cycle?
It's huge, because you get a kid out of Tampa, was a place that has eluded us for a while. Plant High School that are big-time players. I think Wade Boggs played at Plant High School. Pete Alonso played at Plant High School. So that they're churning out athletes down there. You get a running back that's highly rated, highly recruited. His offer list reads like a who's who in college football. So great get for us. You want to hold on to him. You don't want another unfortunate event like we had with Mr. Bowens, but that seems to be the exception, not necessarily the rule. Most of the time people, kids commit, they stay committed. So you don't get too much up in arms, but no, definitely a great way to start off the class. I don't think any of us had a running back being the first member of the 25 class, but that's great. We damn sure need one, considering we're going to be without, other than a couple of young guys, coming in the class next year. So we need to get, running backs for the 25 class expeditiously, just to kind of fill depth chart needs, because we're not going to have Trevor long. As soon as Trevor's, finishes up next year, he's probably going to be in the league with his brother. So definitely needed to get him. It gets the lid off of Tampa. That helps out a lot. You want to get as many kids from that area as you want to. That's where all the great prospects in Florida are a lot of the time. So good get by them. Good way to get him to commit while he's on a visit at campus. Everybody was like, there were some early reports of him committing before he even said anything because, he wanted to wait and he wanted to commit, and Billy had to finish his press conference and he was so ready to commit, that he was just amped up for it. So good for him. Great get for us. Really, really excited to see what he does, and going to be following along with him now on Friday nights too.
Absolutely. You always like when a kid doesn't wait. He doesn't need a platform to commit. He just wants to be part of the program. That tells you a whole lot right there. In this day and age, these kids are trying to set up either, a big Instagram live moment, or they're trying to hook on with a network, whether it be On3, 247, ESPN, whoever it may be, trying to get this big celebration. They got all their family there, which is great. And they're, 150 other people, so they can pull something out of a hat or throw 3 hats across the room. This young man just wanted to be a Gator and made the commitment. Wes, are you excited about this?
Very excited. Not only do we need running backs, we need to get some of these guys, CJ alluded to, from the Tampa area. That's a area where there's a surplus of talent usually every year. So you want to kind of hit that neck of the woods, and it's good to get somebody in the 2025 class to start that hopeful trend in getting the elite guys from out of their area. He mentioned the high school that he's coming from and how they produce athletes. And you guys talked about how we need running backs with only taking one in the last couple of classes. So we're going to need to get 2 probably in the 25 classes, unless depending on what we do in the portal as well. But I can see us definitely taking 2. But I am very excited for this one and seeing him. And when you talked about a moment ago how good Daniels has been in high school, so to pair those 2 guys up in the future, we're looking good in that position. And I mean, how can he not love it? Watching Tennessee game and seeing ETN going off and seeing Montreal getting swing passes, like heavily involved in offense. He's looking like, shoot, I'm doing this now. So when I get to Florida, I'm gonna be doing the same thing. I'm gonna be the offense. So you gotta love that as a running back, and seeing, especially watching the game in that type of environment that we had in the swamp this past Saturday. So excited to have him in the class.
Yeah, I've talked to several people and read in other places that feel like Clark might be the best running back in the state of Florida next year. Obviously, we'll see how that shakes out. You know how rankings and running backs go nowadays. If you pay attention to this, every week there's a new number one running back in the country, just depending on who wants to use what ranking to justify their argument. But, you know, you'll see Georgia got the number one running back in the country, and then 2 weeks later it'll be like, oh, the number one running back in the country commits to Texas. And you're like, who's the number one running back in the country? And that's just how these rankings work, guys. But this is a kid that passes the eye test of everyone that's seen him. So we'll, like we said, we'll start to track his highlights and his yardage numbers and things like that, and we'll try to keep us updated on the show about it. Let's talk about some 2024 guys real quick, though, guys. One of the big things that everybody wanted to know was, would the Mainland boys show up for the Tennessee game? LJ McCray, Zay Mincy. We had said that they were supposed to be here, but until they step on campus, nothing's guaranteed. Both kids showed up. Both kids, by all accounts, had a fantastic time. Anybody and everybody right now pretty much says that, you know, there's other schools involved, obviously, with both kids, but pretty much everyone believes Florida's in the driver's seat for both of these guys, especially right now, LJ McCray. That seems to be the feeling out there. We know how these things go. Apparently his plan right now is to take one more official visit to Florida State. Not ideal, but, you know, this is, if you want to recruit with the big boys, then you got to be prepared for other kids, you know, these kids to take visits to other schools. And this is when you put on your big boy pants and win a recruiting battle. A lot of people feel like he's going to make a commitment sometime in October. We'll have to see.
The rumor, right?
Yes.
Around his birthday, right? Something like that.
Yes. Gator staff feels really good about this. Ever since he made that midweek trip back right before the barbecue, and then he went to Georgia, obviously, that weekend, the staff has felt like they're in a really good position with LJ McCray. Talking about the recently updated On3 rankings, LJ McCray moved all the way up to number 8 in the country, a 5-star prospect on the On3 rankings. That's how highly he's thought of right now. So, and I would imagine he'll start shooting up in some of the other ones as their rankings come out. I mean, this is a guy that you're recruiting. You're going against Florida State. You're going against Georgia. If Georgia wants him on the defensive line, you know he's a solid, great prospect. So a battle you got to win. Same with Zay Mincy. You want that young man to be the closeout guy in your secondary. There's some rumors about some other guys we're after. Grimsley, committed to Alabama, is one of them. Despite recent comments saying that he's solid to Alabama, that he's still very actively behind the scenes getting communication from Florida. Got to just see how it plays out, man. You'd really love to close these kids out. For those that wonder, this isn't a package deal. These two guys are not connected to each other. It would not hurt by any stretch of the imagination to get one of them because of the familiarity. But just because you get one doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the other one. I want that to be out there and everybody to understand that, so they're not like, well, if we get LJ, we'll get Zay. Because then you're just going to set yourself up for disappointment if that doesn't happen. One kid that did not visit, but we are very much in the battle for, is offensive tackle Jordan Seaton out of IMG. He was originally supposed to visit this weekend, but he went out and went to go see Coach Prime and hang out there for the Colorado Slugfest and all that fun. But he has scheduled an official visit. It's going to be for the Vanderbilt weekend. That is the weekend of October 7th. That is the plan right now, is for Jordan Seaton to be here on his official visit. I kind of like it. He'll get a lot of attention. There'll be some prospects in town. I'm sure some of the commitments will be there, things like that. But the coaching staff is really focused on not trying to have official visits during the season. He's going to be the only one probably on an official visit. He will get quite a bit of attention that weekend. Hopefully the Florida Gators will be able to pull out a big win. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if DJ Lagway somehow makes his way back for the Vanderbilt game, because he has bin recruiting that young man. They had another tweet exchange this week back and forth saying, hey, DJ asking Seton, hey, what's it going to take to get you to Gainesville? Wes has chronicled their back and forths on Twitter before on the podcast. This is the number one offensive line target still on the board. So all the eggs are in that basket. So hopefully he shows up as scheduled. Hopefully we blow him away, and hopefully we can get a commitment from that big man, because he also just moved up in the on 3 rankings. I believe was he 7th or 6th, CJ?
I want to say he's 7th, like right.
I think he's 7th. I think it said LJ was 8, and then he came in at 7.
Yeah.
So big time right there. This is another kid flying up the boards. So we could use that big time offensive tackle. We've seen, obviously, we've got some good guards. You've got some projects at tackles, but this is a kid that you need to land. Wes has also chronicled that we need to get some of these elite offensive linemen. Hey, it's put up or shut up time, baby. There's only a few spots left, so let's get them filled. All right, boys. Let's talk a little Gators football for a second. Obviously, now we've moved on from Tennessee Hate Week. We did what we had to do, and we were excited about it, but now it's on to the Charolette 49ers. And if y'all aren't aware, the quarterback for the Charlotte 49ers is Jalen Jones, formerly of the Gators, and we all know how that relationship ended. This is a team that the Gators should be able to really just get some work in on, rest some guys. Obviously, the team was very beat up after this last game. Depth chart just released. One notable a couple of notable outs. We talked about Trey Wilson on our Raw Reaction episode. He's going to be out. Billy said he's going to be out for a few probably. Now, it's coach speak. He could be back by Kentucky, and Billy's just trying to mask it up. He's not going to play this week. X-rays came back clean on his collarbone. Sure, it's probably a good bruise in there, or a bad stinger, or something of that nature that they just don't want to mess with against a team like Charlotte. And you can't blame them for that. Another guy that's out that kind of surprising, but maybe not, is Kingsley is listed as out this week. That could be, he's been recovering from a high ankle sprain. And this just could be one of those, all right, you came back for Tennessee, you played strong. Let's give you another week of rest before we hit that SEC stretch. Now, obviously, if you haven't heard by now, we got some suspensions handed down from the ending of that Tennessee game, which is going to mean the offensive line is going to be showing some new characters, at least at the beginning of the game. Micah Mazuka was suspended for the first half. Damian George suspended for the first half. And Xander suspended for the end of the first half. Wes, I'm going to start with you. Do you agree with these suspensions? Tennessee only had one guy suspended.
I don't agree with the Tennessee having one guy suspended. I understand the suspension. You can't do that. Shouldn't be tolerated. But I love it as far as standing for your quarterback. But you can't square up like you're like you're in the schoolyard about to have a fight. You knew what was going to happen. So I'm not too upset about it. I'm just surprised that, and like Billy said in his press conference, they must have only saw the TV copy, because something is very, very strange with Tennessee only having the one guy getting caught on film doing something. So to me, that's the surprising part. Not that we got 2-3 guys out in the first half.
CJ, you agree?
Hell no. I don't like it at all when the NCAA or the SEC or whatever start to muddle in things that I believe coaches should be able to handle in this situation. This wasn't, nobody got hurt, no, except maybe some pride, maybe some feelings. And I'm not in the camp of protecting pride and feelings. I really could give a shit. I think that the coaches should be able to handle this. And Billy had already said that they'd handle it internally. And that's the way I look at it. Aside from, you can't go out there and club a guy, but that didn't happen. Not anything that would be seen as really forceful. I mean, it was, other than a lot of shoving, a lot of back and forth. We saw the one picture of Mazuka, squaring up on dude. But what is he supposed to do? Just let his quarterback take unnecessary hits because your pride's hurt because you just got your ass wore out in front of 90,000 people. I'm all for letting them handle it amongst themselves. I'm more in the camp of let the coaches handle it. It's their team. Nobody got hurt. The SEC can kind of take a back seat on this one to me.
Let me talk about that situation just real briefly, and something that I was really happy about that. If just bear with me. Those men instantly jumped to defend their quarterback. Like, as soon as it happened, there were 3-4 guys on that man. I don't have a problem with it. Then I watched the infamous Travis Hunter incident from this weekend. That's had all these people up in arms saying that young man that hit him should be suspended from football forever, and all this ridiculousness. One Colorado player came to his defense, and that was Shedeur Sanders. When that happened, it happened on the Colorado sideline, and nobody even flinched at it. That tells me, what kind of team we have, what kind of unity we have, how much these guys think about Graham Mertz. That speaks a lot of volumes to me. I ain't got a problem with it. Now, if we were playing Kentucky this week, maybe I'd be feeling a little bit different. But we're not. But anyway, period. Should Mazuka square up on him like he did? Probably not. Should we have pushed that guy to his ass and told him to, get off our field? Absolutely. They did that. Proud of them for sticking up for the quarterback. That's what you're taught to do as an offensive lineman. That's our captain right there. So another notable, just with those offensive line, suspensions talking. So let's talk about the starting offensive line. Barber's still at left tackle. Richie Leonard slides over to left guard. Slaughter at center. Najee Harris, freshman Najee Harris, getting the start at right guard. So that just tells you right there how much this staff believes in Najee Harris. Not, Jalen Farmer backing him up. And then Lindell Hudson will get the start at right tackle. We talked about it before we even came up on the air. We're good with these guys. If the score is good at halftime, just let those guys all sit. The rest, let them sit the whole game. Get the rest. Let injuries heal. Let bruises, heal. Sore muscles, all that stuff. You're not putting anything on film that you hadn't already put out there at this point. You played Tennessee. You probably put the whole bag out there. So at this point, let these guys rest. Let some of these young guys get some burn. If Montrell Johnson's leg's still bothering him, I'm not sure I run Montrell Johnson out there. Let Trey get some carries. Let Etienne get his 15-plus touches. Get these young wide receivers some catches. They need it. Arliss Boardingham is listed as a starter this week over Odom. That's a big surprise to me. I know a lot of people have been waiting to see that young man get going. And he was on the field for quite a few snaps. If you go back and look at the breakdown of the game, he was out there on the field quite a bit.
He had a catch.
He had a catch, but he was open on several plays too that I saw on the breakdown, and it's just a matter of Graham getting his footing and trusting his offensive line and his blocks. And we missed some opportunities on blocking, especially tight end blocking is needing some work. And maybe a lot of that has to do with, say, Odom is still, a little slow with his leg injury and things like that. And maybe that's why he's not starting this week. Maybe the film has continued to show you're not getting to your blocks in time. Young Mr. I'm sorry. Golly, I'm choking up. Hayden Hanson now has been really good at doing his job. I've been really surprised by how well he's played. Guys, CJ, I'll start with you. Are you good with these offensive linemen just taking a seat and some of these other guys just sitting down?
Yeah, I mean, if the score is where you want it to be at halftime, you're not like in a dog fight. Hopefully you're not against Charlotte. I would hope not, unless you just come out cold and don't, kind of blasé about everything. That's kind of the fear this week, is just handling success. If they come out, they do their job, and you're up comfortably, there's no reason to send him back out there. Mazuka is still coming off an injury. We don't talk about it much because he's played the whole season, but he's still, coming off of an injury. I want Kingsley to be healthy for Kentucky. I'd rather have him there than for Charlotte for sure. It gets more reps for Slaughter in the case that, Kingsley does have to take time off again if he's still fighting injuries, and more reps for him can't hurt him. Based on what we've seen, he needs the reps. Najee Harris getting some burn, awesome for him, and some game time stuff. They're really impressed by what they saw of him in camps. So good to see him get some live game experience. There's a lot of the young guys, and I'm like, if Montrell Johnson, give him some time to rest. These guys need to get healthy because we're getting to the point where you're going to get into the meat of your schedule. And this is it. When you talk about cupcake, beat 'em up games, we don't have that late November cupcake game anymore. You're from here on out, you're playing big boy football. You're going Kentucky, then you're going to Vandy, then you got your Georgias, your South Carolinas, your LSUs, your Arkansas, Florida State. You're talking like the real meat of your schedule. So this is it right here. This is time. We're going to get rid of some of these nagging injuries. We got to give these guys some time. We got to get some guys some backups to have some experience now. This is it. This is your final real dress rehearsal kind of game to where you can iron out what you can before you get started with the meat of your schedule.
Wes, you agree? You okay with some of these guys taking a rest this week?
Yeah, of course. Billy, I don't know if our fans saw it, and I think I shared it on our Facebook group. The episode was episode 3, and Billy talking about it even in his press conference, and I think Matt Baker kind of asked and answered his own question about how we handled success last year. And coming off a big win, you want to come into this game and dominate so those guys don't have to worry about playing in the second half. Exactly to you guys' point. And I agree with the Montreal. If he's not healthy, let Treon get some carries along with ETN. Treon can take the whole second half. Let Trevor play the first half. Let the center plus the right side of the line play the entire game until the fourth quarter if you want to put the third deep in there. But I want those guys to get reps just in case somebody tweaks the ankle like how we have with Kingsley now. You want those guys to get reps. I talked about it 2 weeks ago when we played McNeese, how that led into Tennessee is the reps. College football doesn't have preseason, and you cannot simulate this in scrimmages. Even if you're going full let go, it's not the same as game speed, 90,000 screaming. It's all about reps, and I want to see improvement. I want to see us having success. So I don't want those guys to even touch the field. Defense, I'm not worried about. Offense, I want to see us continue to get in the rhythm. I want to see Bordenham get those little drag routes. I want to see what he does in the open space that Odom and those guys are getting those passes and not giving us much after the catch. I want to see Bordenham do that. You know what I mean? To see what he can do after the catch. See what type of athlete. We have an idea of the type of athlete he is, but I want to see it on the grass. So I'm excited to see some of these young guys get a lot of reps and continue to build not only for the rest of this year as far as 2 deep, but going into next year. I want to see what we have in our mind, what we could be looking forward to, like saying, hey, this guy, like we saw Barber last year. Shoot, Barber's coming back. We know we got him Barber. He moved to left tackle. I'm okay with that because we saw what he did at right tackle and what type of athlete he was as far as a big man on the offensive line. So I want to see a lot of these guys against talent. Not talent, but against a team they should dominate. How do they handle that?
Yeah, I'd like to see the tight ends getting some work in this game. I'd like to see him, running some routes, getting the ball in space, Bordenham that is, and putting up some numbers. I'd like to see Graham's numbers get a little bit of a boost this week too, just for his sake. Let him get about 3 touchdown passes before the half and double up that touchdown number just so it looks a little better. But hey, you can't complain too much with the guy that has the best completion percentage in all the SEC. For all the Graham Mertz haters, the Wisconsin Graham Mertz ain't shown up. Not yet anyway. So I've been really, really happy with the way Graham Mertz has played football at the University of Florida, and I think everybody should be up until this point. All right, guys. Let's get these score predictions for this week. CJ, what's the final?
56-10.
56-10. Holy smokes. Wes.
I'm gonna go. Our defense fans, I got a stat today from my boy, and you probably seen it. We have the least. We're number one in the amount of missed tackles in the SEC. In front of Georgia's number 2, we're number 1, and that's just the improvement in our defense. So I'm with CJ. I think they're mad about that shutout, CJ. So I'm going to give Charlotte 6, 49, 49-6. 49-6, because I think some of our guys missing the offense might hurt us. So I'm going to go 49-6.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to score that much as y'all do this week. I really don't. I think we're going to be very vanilla. I really do. I think we're going to get healthy. Fans might not like this game as a whole. I mean, we're going to like the result. I still got us winning pretty good, but I think this is going to be one of those. It's just going to be like 36-3, something like that. Something just very boring on the face value of it, and people, rival trolls, are going to look and be like, "Oh, you only scored 36, and Georgia State scored 50 plus on them." What? What you got, Wes?
And we don't go into keys against Charlotte, but I want to see our defense give me two tubs. Give me 2.
You give me 2 turnovers, I'll be happy.
Yeah, we got one last week.
Something else I want to see this week. I don't know. Jalen Jones is a little bit of a running quarterback, so I wouldn't be surprised. But that's good. This is a kind of a test you need before you go, say, play Vanderbilt, who has a good running quarterback, and obviously LSU and then Florida State later in the year. This is one of those quarterbacks where you can practice with your guys, setting the edge, containing a quarterback. Obviously, Joe Milton was a threat to do that too, but that's not really their style. This will be a good test to be able to set your edge, to set on your keys, to make sure Shamar, you're setting the edge, or, whoever, Princely, you're setting your edge, whoever's rushing, and guys doing their job, maybe creating an interception or getting some sacks. We need to start seeing some sacks. That's something I would really like to see, is us getting home. We've been real close a lot of times. And obviously, we got close, like Dez hit Milton, set up that big interception in the game. And that's great. That's awesome. Keep doing it. More pressure. I want to see the defensive line get home a little more. Now, they're doing their damn job. That's for sure. I'm super excited about the front 7 of this defense. I'm excited about the whole defense. But obviously, this is a good game to work on your keys, to work on your technique. Maybe coach decides he wants to install a couple wrinkles here and there. And, get ready for that Kentucky game. That's going to be a huge game, which, if you haven't heard already, is a 12 o'clock start next Saturday. A lot of people are excited about that. I know we play like crap at Kentucky at night. I think we play like crap at 12 o'clock on the road. So we'll just have to see which Florida team shows up. I got a feeling we'll be okay. I don't know. Billy just always has a plan for stuff like this. So we'll see how it works out. All right, boys. It's that time of the week. Week 4 Pick Ems. We gotta hurt some feelings real quick on the show. Last week's results: Hirsch 7-3 brings him to 21-9 on the year. West 6-4 brings him to 18-12 on the year, and our man CJ went 4-6 last week.
I took some swings. My bad.
He took some swings and got knocked out.
Yep.
To bring him to 17 and 13.
It's 100% of the chances, the shots you don't take. Damn it.
CJ always gets a raw deal somewhere from something happens that's just, But it's redemption week, separation Saturday, guys. We're going to do these pretty much in order of times played. So we're going to start noon Saturday, Death Valley, South Carolina, FSU at Clemson. Wes, who is it?
Clemson.
CJ.
As much as I'd like to pick Clemson, I'm taking the Noles again. I don't think Clemson's that good.
I'm going to tell you, man, God dang, this hurts. Oh, it hurts my soul. I think FSU rebounds from that performance last week. I think they've had this game circled on their calendar for a minute now because he needs this win. Norvell needs this win to silence a lot of critics. So either it's going to be a really good day for making fun of people, or it's just going to be we're going to have to swallow some.
That's it. If they're going to beat them, they better beat them this year. It's one of those times. If you're going to get them, you better get them now.
Yeah, because when they lose all that talent next year, it's going to be right back to the end of the table. All right. Wes is freezing. There he is. All right. Dion getting a big game again. A lot of this is the biggest test to date right here, boys. Colorado at Oregon, and Bo Nix, the 7-year senior, whatever he is by now. CJ.
I'm taking if they had Travis Hunter, I might think about it harder, but I'm taking the Ducks. I like the Ducks in this one. I feel like it's just we've seen how many points everybody else has put up on Colorado, sans Nebraska, who really can't put up points on anybody. So I'm taking the Ducks on this one.
All right, Wes.
Oregon.
Yeah, I was going to mention what CJ mentioned, and I meant to mention it off the bat. Travis Hunter being out, I think, is just that really hurts the chances right there. That kills a lot of Colorado's defense. Not that they had a whole lot to begin with, but
they have to outscore them if they're going to win. It's going to be
it's going to be a track meet.
It's going to be some points scored, but at Oregon, I just can't see it. I just can't see it, man. But hey, it could be a highly entertaining game, and that benefits Prime and them in the end, though, because that's just more exposure for that program. All right. UCLA at Utah. Will the Utes' luck finally run out, Wes?
This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Trojans, the Bruins. I'm going to go with the Bruins.
CJ.
Give me the Utes. Playing at home, man.
Yeah, I'm going UCLA on this one. I think it's finally. Now, I haven't heard. Is our boy finally playing?
I have no idea. I
haven't heard.
Doesn't factor into my decision at all.
Okay, then. All right. Well, I'm going UCLA. I got a feeling about that, but we'll see. All right. Ole Miss at Bama. Bama struggling. No quarterback to be found in sight. Ole Miss. Lane loves to talk junk. He wants this game bad. CJ, who you think?
I want the damn. I'll take the Tide. I'll take the Tide again. I'm sorry, Lane. You're gonna have to beat them. You're just gonna have to do it and show me, because I've watched your team go lay an egg against Tulane and Georgia Tech. And you better not lay an egg against Nick Saban. I don't give a damn who his quarterback is.
Wes?
I'm with CJ. I'm going with Bama.
How mad do y'all think Nick Saban was after that game last week? Like, how many people's ass got ripped after that game?
Tommy Reeves was one of them.
I'm telling you now, if this game was at Ole Miss, I'd be real hard pressed after that showing last week. But after that game at Bama, I ain't sipping the Kool-Aid. Nick ain't falling off that far yet. I guarantee you. He's gonna roll on these boys. All right. Oregon State at Washington State. Wes.
I'm going to Oregon State. The Beavers.
CJ.
Yeah, I like the Beavers. DJU's got them looking right, so I'll take the Beavers.
Yeah, I ain't picking against that defense. I seen that defense firsthand. Them boys are nasty, boy. Give me Oregon State. Oregon State gonna be a problem for some people, especially with
They may mess up their Pac-12, man.
Then you gave them DJ Ukulele and onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
All right. Next game, back to the SEC. Arkansas and Sam Pittman visits Brian Kelly and LSU. CJ, who you have?
With the Tigers. You don't get your ass whooped by BYU and then think you're going to roll into Death Valley.
Wes, what you got? Last year you were hog suey all year.
I'm glad you said that because Sam Pittman won't do this shit to me this year. I'm going with the Tigers at home too.
Oh boy, Wes last year. I know Sam Pittman cost him about 3 games last year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Him and the quarterback. I was a believer in both of them. The quarterback is where I like the quarterback, man.
I don't like to do the week to week thing because obviously we've already seen with Florida Gators just from Utah to Tennessee how fast the team can turn around. But that LSU team I saw last week versus that Arkansas team that gave up 38 points to BYU, I think Arkansas is going to be in for a beatdown. Give me LSU in whatever the spread is.
That receiver from LSU is pretty damn good.
Well, and Mr. Daniels has really settled into his own. I'm telling you. I don't think Jefferson's going to be able to. I think they'll stop the run, and I don't think Jefferson's going to can beat them with the pass. All right, Iowa at Penn State. Wes.
It's a MAC game because we down at the bottom. So it's hard to play down there at Penn State. They probably have a freaking whiteout. It's about to cuss. They probably have a whiteout or whatever they do. It's gonna be loud. Iowa can't score. I'm gonna go with Penn State.
CJ.
Yeah, Penn State's got a hell of a quarterback. They look like they're doing really good right now, and I don't think that Iowa can score with anybody. So I'll give the nod to Penn State.
Yeah, man, they're gonna have that stadium looking like the damn Empire in there. It's gonna be a stadium full of stormtroopers flying around that place, which usually isn't good. That talks about accuracy issues, but I don't think it matters because, like CJ said, Iowa probably is gonna score like 3 points, maybe 6 if they get lucky. Who knows? It'd probably be a shootout now that we all said that. All right. SEC East matchup preview of our next few weeks to come. Kentucky at Vandy. Vandy averaging 400 yards a game. Kentucky averaging 400 yards a game. CJ, who's it got?
Give me Kentucky. And I'm not really confident in either way. I think I'll take Kentucky though.
Wes?
Yeah, I'm with CJ. I'm not confident either way. I remember Vandy losing to Wake Forest, but then Kentucky doesn't look like they're that good either. But I'm going to go with Kentucky until Vandy shows me they can do it on a consistent basis.
Give me Vandy in the upset, baby.
Uh-oh.
I saw you look around.
The doors.
The Commodores.
The Commodores. Lionel Richie ain't walking through that
I
door.
was about to say.
This ain't Kroger. They ain't playing on Kroger Field. They're in Nashville, baby.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, but I don't see it. But I hope you're right.
They're gonna be hitting the bars after, baby. Come on, Vandy. Roll doors. Anyway. All right. Staying in the East, kinda. Mississippi State at South Carolina. Wes? Carolina's already let you down. But Mississippi State impressed me.
Nah, and South Carolina can do some things. I just don't think, and they showed me some stuff against both. They got to make some second half adjustments because they didn't do it against North Carolina, neither Georgia, and it cost them. They started pretty fast in both games. I think they started this week the same way. I think was the CJ said the Mississippi State defensive coordinator was out the door. The offensive coordinator might be too. So I'm going with South Carolina.
That was a lot of analysis about nothing.
Yeah, I hate picking against Mississippi State. I like Mississippi State, but man, they don't have a secondary. They got personnel issues at Mississippi State. They trying to run the spread with guys that are supposed to be running the air raid. It's going to be a wreck there for a season until they can get some better personnel. They're not using Creed Whittemore at all. I'll take the Gamecocks. I don't really want to, but I'll take the Gamecocks. I think they can throw on them.
All right. The marquee matchup of the day.
Who'd you pick?
Who did I pick? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't pick South
He was
Carolina.
going to wait to see who won. And then
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. I could have done that. I could have done that a couple weeks ago on the game where Clemson lost. I didn't pick a winner in that game when I went back and watched.
You could have.
and I was like, oh, that wouldn't be fair. I know who I wanted. So I took the L on that one. No, South Carolina going to roll these boys. That Mississippi State team I watched last weekend was not impressive at all. And I mean, I'm not saying South Carolina is, but I think they'll score more than enough points to win this ball game. All right, the marquee matchup of the night. Old school blue blood football right here, boys. Ohio State at Notre Dame. Sam Hartman got Notre Dame looking really good. Of course, you know Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. and all those boys. Wes, we're starting with you.
I hate Notre Dame. I also hate Ohio State. But I like Freeman. And I like Sam Hartman. And everybody's talking Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders, and all these guys. I think he already has 13 touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going with Notre Dame. And like I said, I hate them. And they might be the favorite for me thus far as the best team in the country. I know people like Florida State and there are people like Georgia. But if they show me something this weekend, they may be my new lead for best team in the country. So I'm going with Notre Dame.
CJ.
This is a damn important game for Notre Dame. They cannot lose this. If they lose this, that's college football playoff hope just right out the door. Ohio State can lose this game and make it. So I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think that Freeman being there has finally solved the one issue that Notre Dame couldn't get over the hump. That is the defense on that side of the ball. Sam Hartman's playing great. They got some good offensive linemen. I'm going to take the Domers on this one, man. I think Notre Dame, they played a better slate up to this point than Ohio State. Ohio State's still having some quarterback issues. They don't look as explosive as I think we've come accustomed to Ohio State looking. So give me Notre Dame. Give me the Irish.
Ooh. Look, man. Rocket Ismail ain't walking through that door. I'm just going to have to go ahead and tell you right now.
What about Tim Brown?
You know what's bad is Ohio State usually loses this early season game if they're going to lose. But I just don't see it, man. Notre Dame always chokes. And until they don't, I'm going with Ohio State. They're more used to playing in this big game atmosphere. I just don't have enough faith in them. All right. That's it, boys. The picks are locked in. We will see how it unfolds as we always do. It's going to be a fun weekend, guys. It's going to be a fun weekend of college football. I hope you guys enjoy it, man. Sit around all day football from 12 o'clock to – we ain't got a game like Colorado playing into 2 a.m. this week, so thank God we won't be watching that kind of stuff. But that's better. We'll be more refreshed to do our Raw recap on Sunday. Make sure you guys check that out. Next weekend, we'll send it out as soon as it's recorded. We're usually one of the first people to have our reaction video out. We appreciate y'all checking that out. Y'all have really just killed those last few videos we've put out. So that's awesome. And we cannot thank y'all enough for all your support and what y'all do to help us grow this channel. CJ, you got anything to add?
No, just thank you guys so much for supporting us as creators. We really appreciate it. The Facebook page is doing well. The Twitter is doing well. So you guys keep interacting with us there. We've got, a lot of fun stuff now going on for football, with the Pick Ems every week, stuff like that. And we're glad to have you guys kind of join us on this. It's a better time than where we were just kind of, preseason. But now we're in the thick of things. Next week is SEC play down the board. We're on that separation Saturday, as Hirsch said, where you're kind of losing these interconference games and you're getting to the meat of the schedules. So, man, I can't wait. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for supporting us thus far.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all have just made this channel grow and grow, and we can't thank you enough, man. It means the world to us, and all the kind words that y'all say on our Facebook group and on our Twitter page and things like that. And we just thank you so much. Send us home, Wes.
Yeah, reiterate what those guys said. Thank you guys very much. Make sure you guys should check the link in the description with our sponsor. Get you some Gator gear if you need it. We appreciate you guys. Defense, give me 2 tough this weekend, man. I want to see some more turnovers like Hershey, some more sacks.
Let's block a punt. How about that?
Okay. Return a good punt return. I don't think we're doing the kickoffs and going out of the back of the end zone. I want to see something. Yeah, I want to see something. Special teams and defense to help the offense out, that type of thing. But as Hersh said, we got a great slate of games this week. It's our night game at 7. Even after that, with the Notre Dame and Ohio State game. So, good weekend of football, you guys. Enjoy it. We appreciate you guys, and as always, go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators, baby. Catch y'all next week.